Little did I know, from shadows to light. I'm David Liddle. These are the moments that shaped me, the storms I survived, and the truths I can finally tell. Welcome to my story. Chapter 2: The Turbulent Teenage Years. Adolescence arrives not as a gentle transition, but as a torrent, sweeping David into a world of new freedoms, risks, and revelations. Chapter 2 traces his journey through canoes, camps, and curtain calls, where the lessons of brotherhood, belonging, and resilience are forged in the unpredictable currents of teenage life. Through triumphs and turbulence, David begins to discover the person he is becoming, shaped by both the shadows and the light of these formative years. The growth spurt, inside and out. By the time graduation loomed, I wasn't recognizable. Not to my classmates, not to my teachers, and definitely not to the boy I had been just 2 years earlier. But the transformation wasn't the miracle everyone assumed. It wasn't a straight line. It wasn't a glow-up montage. It was a reconstruction, brick by brick, bone by bone, belief by belief, built on dozens of near misses and one stubborn decision to keep going. That year, the change was physical, sure, an 11-inch growth spurt that felt like my body finally got the memo that life was moving forward. 1 month, I still looked like an 8th grader bracing for impact. By June, I stood tall, shoulders squared, finally inhabiting a body that didn't feel like a target. But the real transformation, the one that mattered, was happening underneath. Growth has a way of announcing itself. At graduation, the principal called my name and singled me out as the most transformed and improved student of the year. What he couldn't see, what no one could fully see, was the machinery of change beneath that recognition. Grades climbing from C's to A's because my mind finally had room to function. Behavior stabilizing because I wasn't in survival mode anymore. Presence strengthening because I believed, for the first time in years, that I had a future worth showing up for. That December night outside Poochie's had cracked something open in me, and spring brought the light through. Faith didn't fix me, it focused me. Church, youth group, campus crusade for Christ, these weren't magic wands, they were scaffolding. A place to be seen without being used. A place to ask questions without being mocked. A place where identity wasn't about what I could provide, but who I was becoming. My sisters felt the same pull, Doreen and Debbie stepping back toward faith at the same time. We weren't perfect. We weren't saints. But we were moving in the same direction again, softly, cautiously, like shattered glass finding its pattern. We sang together. We prayed together. We laughed together. And that mattered. The 3 dimensions of real growth. Emotionally, I learned to listen, to slow down, to feel something other than fear or adrenaline. In modern terms, I was developing emotional regulation for the first time in my life. Intellectually, my grades didn't shoot up because I suddenly became smart. They rose because I wasn't drunk, terrified, dissociated, or numbed out. Today, we'd call it what it truly was. Healing gives the brain oxygen. Socially, I found people who didn't want to use me. Christopher Hale, Paul Whitney, Jeff Clemens. Even John Coonrod drifted back toward the same light I was stumbling toward. I was finally learning what healthy friendships felt like. And then there was Debbie Seek. Kind, steady, a smile that didn't ask me to perform. That summer was the first time I dated without chaos, without competition, without trying to prove anything. I didn't chase the thrill, I chose the person. And choosing someone, instead of impressing them, was a type of growth no one applauded publicly, but one I felt in my bones. The moment that sealed it. One afternoon, Matt O'Keefe, a kid whose reputation could freeze a hallway, walked up to me outside the auditorium. He squinted at me, like he was trying to read a language he'd never seen before. "What's going on with you, man? What changed?" For the first time, I didn't shrink. I didn't lie. I didn't dodge behind swagger or sarcasm. I told him the truth. I told him my testimony, saved from the edge, resuscitated into purpose, led by grace, learning to walk in the light again even when my legs were shaking. Coach was still my nickname, but the meaning had changed. I wasn't hustling. I wasn't running. I wasn't breaking into houses or breaking under the weight of my own loneliness. I was coaching my soul back from the cliff. Present-day wisdom, what I know now. Looking back as a grown man, as a father, as someone who has lived through 1,000 more storms, I understand something I didn't then. Transformation rarely arrives like a miracle. It arrives like a season, slow, unexpected, earned. And here's the truth I want the modern listener to hear. You can grow even when no one is applauding. You can change even when your past is louder than your hope. You can rise even after you've spent years underground. Growth is rarely dramatic. Often, it's invisible. Until suddenly, it's undeniable. Little did I know. Boot camp was waiting. Life would test me again. My momentum wouldn't last unbroken. But for that brief season, that sacred year between shadow and light, I stood taller in every sense of the word. I grew upward and inward and finally homeward. And that kind of growth? It stays with you long after the cap and gown are gone. Thank you for spending this time with me, the Pussycat Wizard. These moments we share, whether in shadows or in light, are threads in a much larger story, one I'm honored to tell with you beside me. As always, the journey continues. The next chapter subsection is waiting, and I'd be honored if you'd walk with me a little further down this road. Until then, keep the wonder alive, and I'll see you in the next episode of Little Did I Know.
In the quiet of my mind, a tempest rages. Mother's convictions, the script of ages. Her voice a beacon in the fog of my prose. David, she chides, in secrecy it goes. Beneath my breath, a silent plea. Mother, I hear you, but can you hear me? Your Savior, your faith you implore, I embrace. Yet within, I wrestle wrestle with my own grace. Torn between the divine and my truth. A son's love, a personal sleuth. Have you surrendered? You persistently ask. In your version of Jesus, should I bask? Jane, your call for aid. He's different, you say. A label pre-made. In your eyes I see the fear of a son's path, not straight but queer. I stand at the crossroads of self. My identity not just a book on the shelf. Mother, your love I'll always hold dear, but my journey is mine. Let this be clear.